10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6 seconds.
Camera, here we go.
5,
Mic's up.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And Envision Q.
This is Sky News at 11 o'clock.
LVO.
Headlines
Cut.
this morning. 4 children
OS6
are
next.
stranded.
With
A
your
house fire
move.
breaks out in the middle of the night.
On your shot.
Stafford.
OS6 Q.
2 adults and another child have been treated in hospital. We are
Stand by,
live at
Downing
the scene.
Street.
OS5 next. White. Downing
On
Street
your
live
live
shot
shot,
Q.
Also today, Theresa May chairs Cabinet before heading to
Paris
Belfast,
next.
where she'll promise a Brexit deal that honours commitments
Clear of your
to
live
Belfast.
shot. Becky wants
And
to get
Mix
in.
and Q on. Paris.
10 people die and nearly
Clear of
30
your live
people
shot.
Neeson next.
Howard
LVO and a
Rock
SOT.
plays in Paris.
And Mix Q. Neeson.
The Hollywood star Liam Neeson.
Grab
died
next.
in a race
SOT here.
after admitting this to an interview.
And SOT. Strap out. 10 seconds here.
Yes.
Live wipe to Raw next in about 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Mike's in. Wipe. Colin Q. Last one.
Celebrate our 30th birthday today.
Camera
Sky
8
News
next.
is
Logo wipe
UCE
here.
behind the scenes, live and raw.
Start your move. Wipe. Go 8. 3, 2, 1. Q. Envision.
Good morning. 4 children have died after a fire broke out overnight in a house in Stafford. Police and emergency
Stand by,
services
Matt.
called to the
On the
house
SOT.
Sycamore Lane in the southwest of the town.
Graphic
at
coming.
around 20 to 3 this morning. The cause
Boxes
is
next.
not yet known. Our correspondent
Becky Johnson.
is
Wipe.
at the scene for us now. Becky, a very good morning to you. What can you tell us?
OS6.
Well,
Cut.
desperately
Mike's
sad
out.
news
Becky's
for
got a
us,
graphic.
and, I'm
Yeah,
sure
right
you
then.
can see if I just
you
step
also
out of the shot here, you can see behind me there is an investigation now underway at this
Thanks.
house where this
No grab
fire
yet.
took place
Play
in the
out. Can you
early
keep an
hours
eye
of
out for this
this
fire
morning. You
grab,
can see
please?
that really
It's just
quite
been fed.
considerable damage to the house. A blue tarpaulin
Didn't get the
now
map
covering the top windows. Before that went up, we could see that the window frames had been knocked out. And from speaking to people who saw that
crashed.
fire in the early hours of the morning, they say that was because the emergency services pushed the window frames out, trying to get in and trying desperately.
I'm just going to have to log us off because I've my open media has crashed as it always does.
Statement from West Midlands
Here's a
Ambulance
graphic.
Service. They said
Animate.
that 3 patients.
Tash, can you code that? It's
two
gone in, I
adults
think.
And a child.
Guys, I
came
won't
out of
see
the
when that
house.
grab
They were
goes in for the
treated.
time being.
They say all 3 patients were assessed and treated on scene
Clip's
by
not
ambulance
found
staff
yet.
with
Is it?
non-life-threatening
It's just a-
injuries
no, 6,
before
cut.
being taken to hospital for further care. Tragically, 4 children from the property were confirmed dead on scene. Now, this is a very quiet residential area of Stafford.
Thank you.
It's not ready to go.
Play
Play out.
Shout when
In
it is,
story
Tash.
27,
Not ready
can you
yet.
get us a grab in
Do you want another
Foxtrot,
one,
please?
Colin?
Foxtrot, please. 27.
No, give her another one if you can, because we're waiting for a grab from the neighbours, which just needs coding.
Well, no, there's no duration in it,
Speaking to one woman whose
Hello,
granddaughter
Nocturnal.
goes to the same school. It was actually her husband was one of the people who dialed 999 because they say they could
Thank
see
you.
the
Oh,
flames
7,
from
John
their
Barnes,
back
ready to
windows
go?
shooting
Hi, is
straight
Lewis there,
3 feet
guys?
up into
Guys,
the
there's
sky.
no media duration. I don't
Lewis,
think
you
that
can come
clip
in now,
works.
thanks.
I
Unless you want to stay out of
understand
vision.
that the ages of the children were around 8, 6,
You're
4,
next, mate.
3 and 2, so young primary school-aged children.
The house
And from
fire
what
grab that's just gone
neighbours
in.
are saying,
Good
they think
afternoon,
that it
Mr.
was
We haven't got it yet,
Barnes.
Adam.
Yeah.
He is speaking in the
that
gallery.
was-
Can you
that
hear
was
me?
able to get
I'm just gonna
out
have to
of
take
the
us
house,
off air and back on air.
The 2 adults.
Yeah, I've got the grab.
We think one was the child's mother.
No, it's not ready.
No, it's not.
Don't
It says
worry.
Very,
warning.
very sad.
It's
I'm
not
sure,
valid.
You know, you can understand people very upset.
It's all right, I got it now, mate.
Got it? Okay, let's tell her.
Yeah.
Those children were, you know, all the children
Grab,
around
good to
here
go.
Grab's
out on
there.
the street, like
Warning's
many
gone now, Adam.
residential
Yeah, we got it,
areas.
top.
So I think we can now hear from
Here we are,
Wendy
grab
Pickering.
next.
That's the
Wendy.
neighbour I said, whose granddaughter attends
It might be
the
both
same
of them.
school as 4 of the victims.
She
of
just
this
said from
horrendous
Wendy,
fire.
so let's see. On the grab. Well done, Becky.
Well done. You're going to pick up and wrap
20
quickly off the back of this. Nicely done.
Colin wants to pick up.
Oh. Colin's going to pick up with another question.
The first house.
15 seconds. Colin will
10
pick up.
seconds on
Boxes
the grab.
next.
Roof
10 seconds on this.
outside.
Colin will pick up with a
Outside,
question.
outwards. 7, 6.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Colin's mic in. 1. Cut boxes. Envision.
Becky, some understandable shock there. There's
There was 6
big
next.
fire brigade, fire service presence still. At what point, if at all, today do you expect
Well, we're
to hear
watching
officially
the
from
11 o'clock
emergency
are presented
services
by
about what
Colin
happened?
Brazier. You can see he's chatting to our correspondent Becky Johnson up in the right-hand corner there. Now, if you've been watching for a couple of hours this morning, you'll already notice there's a different type of energy in the gallery here compared to the All Out Politics programme, where it's largely interview-based and largely scheduled interviews. Adam, very calming presence in the studio as well. The gallery, the action in the gallery was perhaps not quite as frantic and frenetic as you've seen here. Already in, what, 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, we've already seen the correspondent being told about an extra bit of vision and audio that she can throw to. You're having direction being put into the presenter's ear, into the reporter's ear, and of course all the cameras that are out and about and around as we're trying to cover this, what is essentially, as you can see, literally a story that is continuing to develop as we watch it.
Do we have comms with Hull, Sally Lockwood, OS1?
Becky, for now, thanks very much. The Prime Minister takes her Brexit battle to Northern Ireland today, where she'll tell business leaders and politicians.
Thank you.
Becky, Adam, very nice. Thanks very much.
The Irish border open. This morning, Theresa May has been chairing the weekly cabinet meeting in Downing Street as the search continues for an alternative to the controversial Irish backstop. Well, after cabinet, the Prime Minister will then head to Northern Ireland. That there is a solution which can command support there and in Westminster.
Perfect, thank you.
Meanwhile, speaking in Japan,
John, it's Adam, the producer in the Sky News Gallery. Can you hear me all right? Stand by. Thank you very much for joining us. We're probably still about 4 or 5 minutes away from coming to you. Is that all right?
Across the Brexit divide, a meeting for a
Lovely.
You're just hearing the producer there,
what we're going to do
the gallery
today,
producer, just queuing up, making sure that the next guest, the outside source, is ready to go, standing by.
Sort of 45
Sometimes
seconds of Liam
things
Neeson's
drop away
interview
and you need
and
to
then
get them
come
on
straight
telly
to
as
you.
soon as possible.
You'll be
That's
speaking
the
to
job.
Graham Brazier.
Largely the director, but of course also the producer for teeing up in time.
Sorry, Luce, go ahead.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beautiful, thank you.
Wipe. OS5. OS5 next.
You noticed again there are a lot of communication, not just amongst the staff in the gallery. The producer and the director tend to talk to each other all the way through the programme. When they don't talk to each other, that's when programmes can go wrong. But it's also speaking to the staff outside as well, making sure that as things are being updated, that as stories are moving, the scripts are changing practically in real time, as new bits of vision and audio get either secured by our camera crews or reporters or fed to us by agencies, getting those onto the programme as soon as possible as well.
As close political and particularly economic alignment with the European Union as possible. And they came up with this idea, which would essentially say that the government would have equity at the European Union for extra time during the transition period to work on a deal. But if we get to the end of that transition and no agreement has been reached, then effectively they would use that time to go for a hard Brexit, a no-deal Brexit, a WTO Brexit, whatever moniker you want to use. And they are currently working. They worked yesterday. They met yesterday. They're feverishly working away.
Sal Hare's Adam in the gallery, you all right?
At the same time, the Prime Minister is going to Northern Ireland to talk to the DUP.
Sally, Adam, you hearing me?
On Wednesday, the other Northern Ireland parties to meet business groups and leaders to try and
Hello, we are off the back of Lewis. We're going to play out a minute 45 package on the Paris fire, and then we will come to you.
OS5 next.
Of Europe, and that is rather unusual.
It's a straight live, isn't it? You haven't got anything to throw to.
Any more here, Ed?
No.
Colin, just straight. Paris next.
On her side of the party to go to Brussels.
Never a
Paris next, then Libby Squire with Sally Lockwood. And then we'll have John Barnes.
I suspect because she doesn't want to go to the EU, to come away empty-handed, to be told by the presidents of Europe.
I've moved John Barnes up a little bit above Crawford's piece because he's there waiting, but he's happy to wait.
Let's take you away from Gallery 21 and back to Millbank, as it's commonly known, but essentially it's our studios in the heart of Westminster. This is the newsroom. The desk on the long desk on the right-hand side is essentially, well, was where you see the kind of the political editor, the head of political news. This is a shot from the end of the newsroom. Adam Bolton, despite the fact he came off air 10 minutes ago, still waiting there. We'll be speaking to him in a minute or two's time. But it's difficult to exaggerate just how much of an exciting place it can be, Westminster. Now in politics, many people will say it's quite a dry subject. Of late, surely that isn't the case. It's the place to be where the stories are moving on and developing. So let's turn our attention once again to Enda Brady, who will be joining us to take us through, well, give us a little bit of a tour of Westminster, let us know a little bit more about what's going on there. And look, another gallery. There's Enda.
So Libby next. Hi Neil, yeah, we're inside the gallery here. This is where all the technical stuff happens behind the scenes, which makes all our presenters and correspondents look good. I'm not going to touch any of these buttons because genuinely I haven't got a clue what they do. Gareth, our technical supervisor here, tells me that these control the camera shutters, so I'm going to leave them well alone, and we're going to go for a little walk now. So we are in Millbank. This is the building in Westminster where all of the political correspondents and news channels are based, and where the politicians come and they do their interviews, and they will go from Sky News, they will do an interview here, they will go elsewhere, they will go on all the news channels, and then they will zip back across the road to Parliament, to whatever parliamentary business they are doing. And I have here, he has finished All Out Politics. We're going to turn the tables on him. Mr. Adam Bolton, great to see you on Sky News Raw. Adam, talk me through your typical day.
I think the whole point is there isn't a typical day. I mean, when we started 30 years ago, for example, and Jonathan Scarrett behind the camera was there, we didn't even have a camera crew assigned regularly to Westminster. We had an office. We were actually the first people to have an office. But we had me and 2 correspondents, 1 producer, and a freelance crew, which we hired in as needed. What we could do, and we were the first people to do that, was broadcast live at any time. And we had correspondents based here, like in a foreign bureau, who never had to go back to the headquarters. So in that sense, we really changed the way political broadcasting was done in that country, in this country, and we've moved on in that way. So, you know, there isn't a typical day because you don't know what's going to be happening in politics. Certainly, as an interviewer and a presenter, what you want is the unexpected. I mean, I feel very unhappy if I do a programme and I think I haven't learned anything over those 2 hours or 3 hours, because then that means the public haven't happened. So what you want is news. That's why it's called news. You want to hear something new.
So this business has changed so much year on year. You were here on day one. Our cameraman, Jonathan Scarrett, he was here on day one. People like me have just parachuted in halfway through. But, you know, the change of pace must be extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, it really has changed because, I mean, back when we started, it was actually my second startup. I'd done a startup at a company called 11am, so I knew you had to get everything in your contract, not just, you know, for yourself, but the fact that you would have a guaranteed number of phone lines, that you'd have a fax machine, remember them. Of course, the internet didn't exist. So for many years, we were actually doing breaking news, first with the news all the time. And then as mobile phones have come online, as the internet happened, most people probably get their first glimmer of a news story if they're following it on the internet. So we have to make sure that we can be first and accurate and comprehensive in what we do. But I mean, again, the difference of Sky News, 24-hour news, is, as you know, Enda, we often report stories when we don't have the full picture. What we have to do is to gather the information and to tell our audience what we know and what we don't know, and gradually build it up on air as we broadcast, which, of course, is different from doing a news bulletin.
How has social media changed what you do?
It's changed a lot. I mean, I've just been looking at my sort of daily greetings, and, you know, they're rude. Another joke guest on Sky News comes on about how democracy becomes a dictatorship, a delusional, arrogant know-it-all. That's about a guest. I mean, there is nastiness in the air, which...
Is that a new thing?
Yeah, it is new. It's come with the internet. It's come with Twitter, and, you know, it's often pretty sad people, actually, who just want to criticise everything you do. You know, why didn't you ask this question? Or even if you did ask it, you didn't ask it early enough in the interview. So, yeah, I mean, it's more unpleasant doing this job than it used to be. It used to be a joy, frankly, to go out and have a front seat on history. Now you have to stay in touch, but you get this sort of daily buckets of crap.
You reply to people?
I do. I don't get into duels online, but I do retweet what they say and correct them. I mean, you know, for example, we had someone the other day saying, oh, that's just what I expect that guest to say, typical German. Well, I pointed out actually that he was from Finland. Bit of a difference. So I will correct people when they get things wrong, but I don't want to get into spats with people because partly that's, you know, what turns them on. But, you know, it keeps us on our toes, but it does mean that we have to do exactly what I was talking to you about, which is to make sure that we are being as accurate, as precise, as fair as we possibly can be in our questioning.
And where we stand right now with the political situation, Brexit, is this the biggest rolling political story you've been involved in? I know we've seen prime ministerial arrivals and departures and sackings and what have you. Brexit has been going on forever.
I mean, it's a massive story and it's different. And the reason why it's different, and really that's what I was talking about with that guest that people were abusing, is that the political system isn't really working, that in the end we've operated on a system where we've had 2 or 3 or 4 parties with a leadership. They've contested the ideas with each other. Now, what we've got now is every party, certainly the Conservative and Labour parties, are absolutely divided amongst themselves. They don't have the answers. Nobody has a majority in Parliament. And it's at a time when, partly thanks to social media, people have less and less confidence in them. So, you know, it really is a time when important issues that are going to affect all our lives are being decided, and politicians are just feeling their way in a darkened room like the rest of us.
Adam Bolton, thanks for your time. All Out Politics is off air, and Adam is just taking the time to go through his social media and respond to people. And we'll leave you with a shot of our Millbank newsroom. All my colleagues in there working on their stories, what's coming up next on air. And this is Millbank, the beating heart of political reporting in the UK.
And a thank you, I've got to say, Adam Bolton, been here since day one of Sky News. That's 30 years of experience, plus that he had at 11am under his belt. Lots of people will know him simply as a fantastic political broadcaster. I have to say, he's also a genuinely nice guy as well. He's been incredibly helpful to me at every stage of my career. My first day in Westminster, he and the then head of the unit, Peter Lowe, took me downstairs for a coffee, told me, look, if anyone tries to poach you, come and speak to us and we'll make sure that we hold on to you. I hadn't even lifted a pen working at Westminster, let alone appeared on air. Unfortunately, no one did come calling for me, so that was me a bit stuck.
Just going to get a selfie with you, Adam, if that's all right.
But let's end up Brady, never knowingly starstruck.
You got John Barnes on about Liam Neeson, blimey.
Well, let's take you back to the home desk. Mike Bradbury and Paul Harrison there. Let's see exactly how the stories have evolved. They're clearly talking across the desk to assignments, and that's at the part of the desk that handles, you know, crew bookings and indeed hotel bookings when moving away. Let's just have a listen and see what they're chatting about.
Now, can you confirm what he's talking about? He's talking about in the moment, and you can't blame Liam Neeson for thinking what he feels, because this is what, and this is a while ago, this is what society has shown us that black people do, Muslims do.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what's going on there. Both Mike and Paul Harrison are listening in to the chat. You see at the top right of your screen, John Barnes talking about the Liam Neeson story. Paul, of course, mentioned that we might be speaking to the former Celtic manager a little bit earlier on Sky News Raw. So you need to have people monitoring what's going on. It is very easy when you've got 24 hours to fill and lots of interviews. I think it's 700, 800 interviews that we book every month. Sometimes news lines, as we call them, can slip through the net. So monitoring and turning that material around as we talk are all important. So good that we've got such a big set of lugs as Paul Harrison has listening in. And Katie Spencer's standing there. Katie, you're going to be speaking to another one of our colleagues here, this time my boss. So be nice, please.
Yes. Don't go commenting on the size of my lugs, will you? Before we go and speak to Christina, who is all of our bosses, I just thought I'd walk you past the daytime team. What are we on? It's coming up to 18 minutes past 11, so you've got basically half of the daytime team working on the output that's happening at the moment, but also we're building the rundown at the moment, aren't we, for the 12? Doesn't stop, it's constant. That's the joy of being a rolling news channel. So what we're going to do while they're doing that is try and find Christina Nicolotti-Squires, our Director of Content. Christina, can we have a chat? I've got told, poster. Motivational poster.
My motto.
Work hard, play hard and be kind.
A bit crooked, doesn't it? Right, do you want to take a seat?
Yes, shall we?
Turn this down, otherwise we'll be...
we'll be echoing, won't we?
Listening to ourselves. It's not always a good idea.
It's TV 101, isn't it? Turn your sound down.
Right.
Firstly, can we have a chat about Sky News Raw then? It's quite a brave thing to be doing, really.
Yeah.
The camera's constantly rolling, really, in a newsroom.
Yeah.
I mean, we're quite prone to swearing, and there's obviously the sort
Speak
of...
for yourself. Look, Sky News has always been known for being innovative, being a bit risky, challenging the status quo, and this seemed a perfect way of celebrating our 30 years. There's been a lot of nervousness about being on television. You're used to it, I'm not. I've spent many years keeping away from the cameras, but interestingly, someone just came up to me about 5 minutes ago, I won't name him, but he came up to me and he said, I was really worried about this. I was really worried. I nearly didn't do it. And I discussed it with my wife, and actually, I'm really glad I did, because it's really good we've shown people what's going on. And with all these things, there's always a little bit of jeopardy, and you hope people will behave. But I think it's been so far, it seems to have been a pretty positive thing. I hope people are enjoying watching it.
Yeah. I mean, 30 years of Sky, so you've been here for a couple now, haven't you?
Yeah, just 2, actually.
I guess having projects like this, is that what sort of attracted you about coming here?
Absolutely. I was at the other place, ITN, for about 22 years, and the thing that brought me over here was the fact that at Sky News we've got a TV platform, we've got a mobile app, we've got a website, we do the radio for all the radio stations, all the independent radio stations of Britain. We've got fantastic followings on all the social media platforms. We can make news, we can make documentaries. If you come to Sky News, the world is your oyster. You can have a mad idea like this one and and make it happen. So, that's one of the reasons I came here.
You do the odd media interview as well, and I wanted to say, whenever I hear you interviewed, pretty much the first question that is asked is always, how is it being a sort of female management? Why aren't there... The woman thing,
yeah.
Does that get a bit frustrating? I mean... Should we ask it as well? Does it matter that you're the sort of the leading woman here? Has it been hard getting here?
No, I don't think it's been hard getting here. I think that despite the fact that there's a reputation in this industry for it not being particularly female friendly, if I can manage it, then anyone can. I'm proud to say that I have been in journalism for 30 years and managed to find a husband. Okay, he works in TV as well, but had 2 children, managed to kind of do the juggling act. And I just think it's really important that women step up and get jobs in senior roles in this business, not just in TV, but in newspapers, right across the media, because 50% of the audience is female. And I think it's really important. It's only actually, as I've become more senior, I realise how important it is to make sure that female voices are heard at every single level of organisation. We just have a different view on things.
Yeah.
And it's actual fact across all businesses, not just media, but across all businesses. Companies that have boards with a balance of men and women actually make more money. It's that simple.
Can we ask you about your role as well, Director of Content?
Yes.
What does that involve on a
I don't know, you tell me now. It can involve everything. So in theory, my job actually, my title is Director of Content for Sky News, so I'm in charge of the production staff you've been meeting today, on radio, on TV, and online, documentaries, The Pledge, a huge amount of output. I work very closely with Jonathan Levy, who's the Director of News Gathering, and John Riley as the sort of senior leadership. My day can be, well, it's hugely varied, so I'll go to editorial meetings, we'll talk about some of the stories. There's various stories that I've got a real passion for, that I think, again, my background and me being a woman and a wife and a mum gives me a perspective on some stories that others wouldn't necessarily have. But I can be involved in all sorts of things, like, do you think this image is okay to go out? Can we say this? Should we be doing this story? I've got someone in my team who's not working the way they should do. Someone's got to go and have an operation, needs to cover them. It's just everything.
Can I ask as well, this is an open plan office as well.
I've never had an office with no walls.
Is that risky? It's quite fun, isn't it?
It's quite fun. It is quite challenging when you need to have a private conversation with somebody, but I did once get locked in a stairwell.
Can you sense when something is happening? Is there a sort of noise that is made from the newsroom?
It's not a noise, it's a physical thing. It's actually, when I used to be a news editor, and the guy who was sort of my boss and my mentor always told me when a big story's happening, stand up.
Yeah.
And so when the big story breaks, people tend to stand up. It looks like you're in control, your authority. Problem is now, with all these standing desks, people are standing up all the time. So, but you can definitely know when there's a buzz. There's always wouldn't say the noise level goes up, but there's an atmosphere. It's hard to put your finger on it, but you know it, don't you?
Yeah,
there's
it's fun.
a buzz, isn't there?
There is a buzz. Thank you, Christina, for talking to us. We will leave
you
you there.
Great job you're doing today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll just have one more wander back to the daytime output team, shall we? We'll see what they're working on, where they're up to at the moment. What time are we at now then? 11:24. So yes, what's happening on the live channel at the moment? Have we got any guests coming up?
Who do we have coming up, Lucy? Have we got anything brilliant and exciting? Nothing just at the moment. We do have a debate coming up fairly soon, which we're going to be talking about Brexit, and then we're going to be talking about Sky News Raw.
Oh, there you go. It's getting terribly meta, talking about the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes.
Absolutely. I know.
Well, we'll hand you back to the live feed with that.
Katie, thanks very much. As you can see, we're putting pretty much everyone who doesn't generally appear on air, not just on air, but under pressure as well. I mean, who's coming up next on the channel? A quick check. Oh, no, we don't know. Everything seemed pretty fluid. So once again, let's kind of move our way around the newsroom and see if we can dip into a few conversations. Paul Harrison again on the phone, Mike Bradbury on the phone. Actually, it's rare to see either of them not on the phone. Over to the foreign desk, and again, of course, events in Paris have been something that we've been following there today. And the whole design of the newsroom was initially set up to try and encourage conversations between the different disparate parts of Sky News. There has been occasionally a tendency in other news organisations to view digital as a separate operation, television as an operation, radio as an operation. Here at Sky News we've been trying to bring everything together, partly because of course you want to maximise the output that you can get from the resources that you have, but also because the core qualities at the heart of everything that we do in terms of the way that we research our stories, the way that we stand them up, that shouldn't differ from platform to platform. The way in which we tell the story certainly does, but at the core of it, whether or not it is true, the way in which we analyse, the way in which we explain the news, that should be pretty much standard across.
Christine, have you seen that line about...
Francesca Stevens, just looking down at the computer. We use a variety of computer systems. Open Media is one that we use, and it's, we get there. Francesca's putting together the rundown for the afternoon programme. Rundown is probably something that needs a little bit of explanation. Literally, if you can imagine a list of, let's just say, 5 stories ranked in order of importance, that is the bare bones of what a rundown is. But more than that, because we operate off something of an automated system these days, we literally schedule events happening in a rundown. It's that Neil Hunter, the chap in the picture that you can see there, looks like he's coding, as we say, the rundown for the next hour. Working very, very hard indeed. And Katie Spencer, let's return back to her. One of the biggest roles in any news organisation, Katie, is of course looking ahead, planning for, well, not just what happens in the next 12, 24 hours, but what can happen 3, 6, 12 months down the line.
Yeah, an incredibly important role, really, because we can't just be reacting all the time. Rachel Lynch, you are our planning editor, aren't you, Rachel? So we've seen from the live feed everyone working on the general sort of daytime output.
Yeah.
What are your team here doing? What days are you looking at?
Well, we're basically anything from tomorrow right up to events, even kind of 6 months in advance. So while you've just seen the home desk react to stories like this is happening, let's go, we kind of make news and we decide what's going to be happening, and we're a bit more proactive. So Georgia, who's sitting next to me, is looking specifically at tomorrow and where we're standing. Already at this stage we're deciding what stories we want to do. You can't just send someone, you have to think about all sorts of things about how do they get there, who they're going to speak to once they're there, are we even allowed to be there, so permissions to get to all sorts of places. So I look generally the week ahead. Maddie looks further afield and anything up to 6 months in advance. There's D-Day anniversary coming up.
So presumably there's a number of ways that you can get stories then. There's key dates like D-Day anniversary.
That's the question that people always ask me. How do you how do you find out about stories?
What's going on?
There's loads of different ways. So sometimes, this is probably the least usual way, people just tell us. They call us up and
great.
they email
Have that
us.
more, couldn't we?
And that's fantastic, and we follow up and we bottom it out and we make sure that what they're saying is actually a story. But I think probably the most common way we get stories is from our reporters, correspondents, having contacts in the field, building up relationships with people so that they tell them things, so that they whistle blow. Or we do our own research. We do freedom of information requests. We go into deep research about a subject that we think is interesting. We find out if there are untruths there. So that's quite a lot of the time, that's where we get stories. And sometimes, people want to tell us their story, and I say people, governments, charities. So we get things called press releases, which kind of flood our inbox.
Press releases.
Our inbox. And, honestly, most of them are rubbish. And whilst they think it's a story, that's part of our job on planning to go, you've got an axe to grind, this isn't a story, and we're not going to put our resource into it. But every now and again there is something which we do think is a story. Perhaps the government are putting a huge amount of cash into a children's service, and we think, do you know what, that is genuine, that's a lot of money, and it's going to improve a lot of people's lives, in which case we will do it.
Before I leave you, explain to us, we've got specialist desk over here as well, haven't we? They're a part of your teams, really,
They
aren't they?
are, yep, actually David Maxwell, I'm going to point to a leather jacket with a person not sitting at a chair.
Previously seen here, David
previously seen
Maxwell,
that. He runs the head of specialists. So over, who can I see? Actually, often our specialists sit in Millbank, just because it tends to be that central London is an easy place to get to lots of their contacts.
But they're generating original stories,
Very
aren't
much
they?
so, very much so. So Sarah Dawkins over there, she's our sports producer. So she works with Martha Kellner, our sports correspondent, to look specifically at sports stories. And Jordan with the blue shirt on, she is our crime producer. So she works with Martin Brunt, our crime correspondent too. So she'll be doing a lot of trials, lots of interesting trials. Another big area of planning is long-term trials that we need to get across. You can't just have a verdict and us go, they're guilty. And we need to do something called a background and speak to all the relevant parties. So that's the sort of thing they'll be doing lots of.
You're a busy lady.
I'm a busy lady.
We'll leave you to it. I know I'm overstaying the welcome now. Right, so I thought I'd find the man who's in control, Peter Lowe, head of Home News.
Hello.
Should we have a little walk? Show me around your home news area, Peter. What is going on at the moment?
Well, the home news desk is here, as you know. The senior news editor at the moment is Paul Harrison, and his deputy at the moment is Mike Bradbury.
So your chair is here, isn't it?
I sit there. So I sit kind of between planning. You just spoke to Rachel, didn't you? So I sit between there and the news desk. The news desk is much more of an operational, on the day, what's happening now.
And as head of Home News, is it sort of you sat there, so you're keeping one ear on what's going on, how stories are changing?
Yes, but everything about my job is about trying to weave between the management of the editorial side, the news stories, and particularly the biggest news stories, and also managing the people, the team, and the department, as you know. And I think in any kind of news, and broadcast news or mobile and online sites, the three big areas, when people ask me that question, as they have over very many years, well, where do you get the news from? I think there are, if you imagine a pie chart, the three different big chunks are things that you can plan. So planned news, and when you just talked to Rachel, I know about planning, although I didn't hear what she said. But obviously, people might say, well, how do you plan news? Well, you can plan news because you know events that are coming up, and you have to work out how you want to cover them. So we knew that today the Prime Minister was going to Belfast, so we had to have a plan in place to be able to cover that, especially as our senior Ireland correspondent based in Belfast was actually out of the country at the time, so we had to work that one out, and Faisal Islam, our political editor, has gone over there. We know that there is a report coming out later today about environmental pollution affecting the health of children.
Should we have a little walk? Because we can look at some of these feeds coming in. So what else have we got?
So we knew about that in advance. So we've had our correspondent in the southwest, Dan Whitehead, has been filming a piece about the way in which children are affected by air pollution. So those are the kind of the planned stories. And then another part of the pie chart is stories that you didn't expect. So there's a terrible fire in, I know it's not home news, but there's a terrible fire in Paris today, and another really terrible fire in Staffordshire today where 4 children have been killed. Nobody could have planned for these events, so they happen and you go and cover them. The same with the recent tragedy about Emiliano Sala, the Argentinian footballer who died on his way from Nantes to Cardiff. That comes out of the blue, it happens, and you have to send people to Cardiff, to Nantes, although actually we didn't immediately go to Nantes, and you go to Guernsey. So those are things you have to respond to.
I mean, you've only got a limited number of resources. That's the thing, isn't it? Working out sort of where's best to deploy a camera and sort of...
Yes, of course, yeah. And the third bit of the pie chart is original stories that we ourselves want to pursue as journalists. Our specialists and our political teams and so on want to pursue stories that they're finding out things themselves. So the tension always exists between the planned story, the original journalism, and the on-the-day breaking story that you have to go and cover. So that's why there's so much juggling by the news desk, and why you need to have one central point at which you curate everything sort of non-stop. And that's the obvious thing about this place, is the TV channel is on the air all of the time, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I think you work most of them, don't you?
It feels like it sometimes. So do you, mind you. And as well, I mean, best laid plans. We've seen the various sort of meetings today. Things can just change within the space of minutes.
Of course
though,
they can.
Can't they?
And sometimes you sit in a morning meeting and discuss 3 or 4 stories that in the end never appear because something else much bigger happens, and you have to do that instead. And of course, as we've been discussing all day, the way in which we find news and deliver news has changed immeasurably over the 30 years in which Sky has existed. I've not been here 30 years, I hasten to add, but I have been here. I have been here for 20 years, and I used to work for the BBC, and I left after 11 years at the BBC. And I thought to myself, well, that was a long time. I'll never work for the same company for that long again. 20 years later, I'm still here enjoying myself immensely at Sky News.
An exciting time to be a journalist, though?
I think, I mean, I think it's always exciting to be a journalist. I mean, I remember the times when I sent reporters out on stories, and they had to ring in from a phone box to tell me to keep me on a news desk. In the loop with how they were getting on.
Although sometimes that would be lovely, Peter, to not have to talk to people on our phones all the time.
I suspect that sometimes they went to lunch and then rang me. But now we can, when I joined Sky News, we had 2 satellite trucks, so we could just, with a couple of exceptions like Downing Street and other places in Westminster, we could only really be live from 2 places. Now we can be live from almost anywhere we want, anywhere in the world, at any time, using modern technology. So it's increased the amount of stories we can do, it's increased the possibilities, it's increased the amount of occasions where you probably end up having to juggle things for the production team in the gallery, where sometimes things that you plan to do never actually get on because they get overtaken by other events. I mean, it is a... I might have been here for 20 years, but I love
Katie,
it.
can you tell Peter to wrap, please?
No, it never stops. I'll never stop.
Oh, Neil Patterson is being very sarcastic in my ear, and he's telling me to wrap now. So we'll hand back to the live feed then.
Okay, Neil had enough of me, clearly. Thanks.
Katie, Peter, thank you. Well, let's take you back to NOC, News Operations Centre. Now, this is where all of the live and non-live material is brought in-house. You've seen Lisa Robson there, who runs NOC, and just over the back, that's Rob Ockey's, one of our engineers who's been allowed in from a satellite truck for once. We take a bit of a broader picture. You will, in essence, see it looks like another gallery. All of these inputs coming in from, amongst others, the Reuters TV service, APTN, the Associated Press TV service, our bureau in various parts around the world. all of this material being brought in. At some point, if you see pictures somewhere, if you see a report, that means their cameraman and a journalist have been on that story. So let's move away, shall we, a little bit from the Sky News Centre and head out into the field and speak to Sally Lockwood, who, as you can see, holding a microphone at the back of a truck. Sally, take us through the process. How do you get the news on telly?
Neil, I can just about hear you. I can also hear Katie Spencer in my ears still, I think. But just to let you know what we're doing here in Hull today, we're on the story of the missing student, Libby Squire, who is a student at the University of Hull. Now, we're opposite the university today. There's not been a huge amount of activity, of course, a really worrying story. So there's a very serious atmosphere here. And we understand the university is working closely with the police to do with her disappearance. So we're just waiting for updates, really. We've been in touch with the police this morning. We've been to 3 different locations to see what activity there might be in the way of searches and the like. It's very quiet at the moment, so we're just staying across that. And as with many of these stories, once you've done all you can in terms of checking out the local area, contacts, calling police, it is a bit of a waiting game. So today, our setting is a pub car park opposite the university. Very warm hosts to us today. We've been here since around 7 a.m. Now, for many of us, our home bureau is Manchester, so that was a 2-hour drive for me, which meant a 4 a.m. alarm call. But of course, as with many early alarm calls, I actually woke up at 3. This is Andy. He's one of the cameras on the job today. Where have you come from, Andy?
I've come from Worsley. I travelled over this morning.
What was that, like a 2-hour drive?
2-hour drive, yeah. So I got over this morning. We arrived just as it was going up to the light in the dark, coming up to light, and then we set up just outside the front here.
Yeah.
Little lamp off the satellite dish, broadcast first 2 hits, and then we're just setting up for another hit at 12 o'clock.
Now, there's 4 of us here today. We've all come from 4 different locations, 4 different vehicles. In my car, I've always got a bag full of chargers, passport, change of clothes, boots, all manner of coats, wet weather gear and all sorts. But Andy definitely smashes my record with kit, don't you? Talk to me about what you have in the sat truck here, Andy.
So generally we've got a camera, lighting, full cut lighting rig in the boot, satellite dish on top of the truck. If we come around this side over here and we open the side of the van, you can see inside the van we've got a full kit set up. Our radio comms are in there ready to go for a lunchtime live. We're putting out bars at the moment, so we're not transmitting any physical pictures.
Now, we edit in here as well, don't we, Andy?
Yeah,
I mean, we pretty much live in here on jobs,
yeah,
don't we?
Yeah, we do. We live in here. This effectively is our office and our home sometimes, even for 24 hours on occasions. We spend a lot of time editing, and then once we've done that, we feed it over the satellite straight to London, and it goes out on air. So.
Yeah, we do spend an awful lot of time in here. We're quite spoilt having a pub for warmth today, aren't we?
We are, yes, and it's unusual to be so close to a sort of warm places.
And I should probably mention, Andy, how long have you been doing the job up here?
22 years now.
Okay, now,
yeah.
Everywhere we go in the north of England, without fail, Andy Dennell has a story. What's your whole story?
Well, the last time I was in Hull, Paul Heaton was walking through the town centre, and to me, it was I was a massive fan of Beautiful South. So when he walked past, I didn't recognise him at first. I thought I knew him.
Remind viewers who that is.
Paul Heaton, Beautiful South, sort of band in the mid-90s, I would reckon. Did some fantastic hits. They were I loved them so much. I went to see them on numerous occasions. So to see him walk through Hull Town Centre was a bit of a buzz for me. But yeah.
See, I told you, Andy's got a story for every location. That's his whole story. Now, I understand, Neil, you've got some questions from viewers.
Yeah, Sally, just obviously you and I have both been out on the road for a number of years. A question that keeps cropping up is how do you work? How do you manage to work on stories which have a bit of emotional heft, on the stories where there is a degree of tragedy involved? Do you approach them in a different manner? Do you have to act in a different manner to be able to cope on stories such as that?
That's a good question. It's not something you consciously think about. I don't necessarily. Anyway, I think it's just instinctively you behave differently on stories like that because you're very aware of the seriousness of the nature of the story, the impact on the people involved. And of course you sense the atmosphere and soak it up. And very often you take it home with you, as you, I'm sure, know, Neil. It's something that you can't help but be affected by. But obviously we're here to do a job, and you detach yourself from it to an extent whereby, yes, you may be absorbing the emotions and atmosphere around you, but because we are obviously having to deliver the news, the adrenaline, I think, takes over on stories like that. What would you say?
Yeah, I have to say, I think I probably agree. It's in the aftermath of a story that perhaps things begin to catch up with you a little bit. Whilst you're immersed in events, you know, I did, you know, politics, for example, a general election where you don't really understand what's going on until the very end of it. But look, a last question to you, Sally, before we leave you and get on, because obviously you do have a job to do today. What's you, in terms of the stories that you've covered, not necessarily at Sky News, what's been the highlight for you? I have to admit, it was when President Obama said, "Hello, young man." That was my highlight, career highlight.
Oh my goodness, the stories are so varied, aren't they? Whenever I get put on the spot and someone asks me that, I find it a really difficult question to answer. But I think probably the most embarrassing moment for me was when I was interviewing Simon Cowell and he turned it into interviewing me, which was rather embarrassing. But I think probably a highlight in terms of the most memorable story was perhaps in the summer last year when a big team of us were sent out to Thailand to cover the rescue of those 12 young footballers and their coach who were trapped in a cave for several weeks. That was something that I don't think I will necessarily surpass for a long time in terms of being absorbed in a story and covering something that really gripped the world. You know, we were getting messages from all over the world. Viewers were just hooked on that story, willing a good ending. And for the major part, we did manage to obviously report a very happy ending, which was just obviously a real privilege.
Sally, thank you very much indeed. And do give my best to Andy Dennell. I know he's got stories from every part of the country. He's got plenty of stories involving me, so if he can keep those to himself, that would be brilliant.
I will indeed, Neil. I'm sure you miss the car parks of the north.
There is one.
Not a chance. Let's take you back inside the gallery. Our coverage
20
continuing.
seconds.
Colin
So Cameron
Brazier
Nye
is still in the glass
train
box.
down
Let's just
from
have a quick
Sky.
listen in, because as you'll be able to see on the shot there, Ashish Joshi has crept into the studio alongside Colin Brazier, so we're perhaps about to hear a little bit about what's going on in terms of Sky News Raw, and of course this our 30th birthday, 5 o'clock on 5 p.m. on this very day, 6 p.m. in fact, on this very day, 30 years ago we became the world's second rolling news channel.
11 next.
Actually,
Take
some
11.
people say, don't let light in on the magic, you'll spoil the
9
fun.
next. And cut
There are
9.
more people who are saying this is fascinating.
11 next.
What an
Cut.
opportunity. What
Stand by to put Raw in the wall.
Sky News for one day.
10. Do a little
There is
crane down. I'll animate it while you're on
You
10. Go
You
10.
see addressing that in
Change the strap,
her
please, Sonny.
report. And this is all about transparency.
10.
This wasn't just a gimmick.
Animating the
You know,
wall.
We had a few people sitting around.
There's
saying,
500
what can we
Arshishes.
do to
11 next.
celebrate 30 years of Sky
Cut
News
11
broadcasting?
on
No,
11.
we'll let cameras
9.
in,
Low
knowing
crane and
that
do a
there are
little
so
head and
many
push,
risks
please.
involved.
Oh, look, there you go.
That's
There's you.
Just
put that on the screen.
In your dressing room alone,
Go
there
9.
would be inherent risks.
And cut 9.
Live cameras. And look, this
There
is
we
the
go.
output. This is Sky News at work right now. These are people who are making this happen, bringing news
Get the whole
to
screen
air,
in, please.
putting it out.
He's playing Candy Crush.
Multiple platforms. And I was sceptical to
was a bit of a
start. I
delay.
have to say, I thought, who
11
would
next.
be interested? Why would anyone
And cut
want
11
to watch it
on
instead of a
11.
news channel? Making the news channel, and I've been following the
9
the
next,
Twitter
cut 9.
thread. It was trending earlier on. People are fascinated because news is so
11
important.
next.
And it's important because
Cut.
over the last
He's
couple
on
of
ears,
years,
isn't he? You
we've
can hear
had
me.
President Trump coming to power, inventing a phrase, fake news, and
I'll do a little
suddenly
drop down from the
everywhere
sky
we
again on
go,
9,
we're
please.
challenged
Get to the grab
with
if you can.
Exactly that. People think it's a big risk.
Grab next.
By
John Oliver
letting
grab
cameras
coming up.
in and showing what we do, it could expose us. But we think the opposite is true. Go on.
I've
Hey,
spent
next
my time
cut,
interrupting you. There's no reason to stop now, is there?
Go 9.
In terms of
And cut
demystifying, I
on
remember
9.
when I started in telly
Who's that
back
guy?
in the late 19th
Oh, I'm going to have to
century,
lose everything
and
here.
somebody said to me then,
8 next.
you know,
And cut 8 on 8.
people will never be on the telly. Once in a
9
lifetime,
next.
maybe it's a huge
And cut
event.
9 on 9.
In a world of smartphones,
8
etc.,
next.
when
Cut
people are posting
on 8.
videos
11
every
next
day.
on 11.
Things are getting slightly
Coming to 9 now,
confusing.
cut 9.
We're in a gallery looking at another gallery that's talking to the presenter who's talking about what's happening in this gallery. Yeah, this has all got a little bit meta, hasn't hasn't it?
Cut 10, cut 10, 11 next.
Their own YouTube channel.
And
we have
cut.
superstars being created overnight with the technology that's available.
Con,
What people want to know
really
is the
running out of
process.
time, so I'm just going to get in
story
throw the grab and then you
starts,
can thank
how
me
is
off
that
the back.
story treated, packaged, delivered, and consumed, and that's the important.
Grab
part.
next.
But people still don't think it's going to work. John Oliver, the comedian,
Here's the grab.
he's been
There we go.
tweeting about Sky News Raw.
Stand by
this
Sky
morning.
News Raw wipe on the wipe. Camera 9 next. Pick up on the 2 shot here. Start low and wide again, please, here.
Nice, guys. So, Colin, if you're doing a quick thank you to Ashish off the back of this and then throw to the break, please.
Okay, and then throw to the break with a little promo.
The promo's on there still, Adam. 30 seconds on the grab here.
24 hours of swearing at the Sky News office.
Where's the?
Are they next door?
They're in a meeting till 1, but they're only in that room over there if you need them. 20 seconds.
I just can't imagine that going smoothly.
Said super losing about straps. 15.
You got 20 seconds for a bit of banter between you if you
10
want off the back of
seconds.
this.
9.
Camera 9 next.
7. 6.
5, 4, 3, 2. Start your move. And wipe.
You're not one of the swearers.
No, I'm not one of the swearers.
11
there
next.
are lots of swearers. There are people who are wearing
Cut 11,
ties who are
11.
never, ever, in
9
my
next.
15 years of being
No
at
life.
Sky,
And
never
cut
worn
9.
a tie, and suddenly they're wearing a tie. So people clearly
11
realise that
next.
this is
Cut
an
11.
important day here at Sky News. And
Eight
you're wearing a
next.
three-piece suit.
Well, I thought I'd make the effort.
Okay, next.
I've already been suggested to look like
Very
this kind
nice.
of chap who hands out the card keys in your hotel.
Oh no.
Thanks, Ashley. If you're interested in taking a look behind the scenes of Sky News, you can
Very
tune
funny.
into the special one-off channel
Teasing
Sky
next.
News Raw
Camera 8
until
next.
5 p.m. today on Sky Channel 523.
And cut.
No swearing.
In vision.
This is Sky News coming up. The
Take
man
and prep,
who
plus
broke a
bar.
deal in Northern Ireland tells Sky
Bumper
News why a
next.
no-deal Brexit.
Well, let's move away, shall we, again from Gallery 21 and head down the corridor to Sky News Design. Of course, a lot of what happens, Katie, on screen, we've been peering behind the curtain today, but a lot of what happens on screen, design pretty much where you are.
Yes, exactly. And actually, this is one of the areas where there aren't any cameras. So we thought we'd take you here so that you can have a little nosy around of what they do here in the design department. Gilbert, you're graphics editor, aren't you? So explain why your role is so important, what you do here in graphics.
Well, I'm the liaison between the newsroom and the graphics department. And basically, we come up with clever, unique, visually interesting ways of telling stories.
I mean, the point of having graphics is to simplify stories, really,
Yes,
isn't it?
Yes, and to provide clarity to stories that sometimes might be a bit difficult to either understand or to break things down into more coherent pieces, parts.
So there's some examples today of things that are running which sort of sum up that, isn't there? The Brexit explainer,
Yes,
that's
yes.
one,
So
isn't it?
things that you probably would have seen include our Brexit explainers about the backstop, which we've done numerous times, about Theresa May's deal, explaining Northern Ireland from the sky. We do things on not just on TV but also on digital as well. So you probably will have seen our work.
I mean, the reason you don't have any cameras here today and the reason it's quite quiet is because these things that you're producing, they take a lot of time, they take a lot of concentration, don't they?
They do. You might not realize it, but it takes hours of work, actually, in order to get graphics on the air.
It might be something that's sort of 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, it takes hours to research. It takes time to approve scripts. It takes time to then come up with the concept that works for TV or on digital. And then it takes time for the designer to actually make it as well. So it's not a very straightforward process, but hopefully once you see it on screen, you know it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll leave you to it, Gilbert. Dan, I was going to rope into showing us around. Hello. Shall we reveal the secret as well?
Oh, yes, yes.
Married, the pair of them. Yeah. Did you meet here, presumably?
Designs power couple. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we did. Our eyes met across a crowded newsroom.
Oh, lovely. Show us around graphics.
Yeah, so,
We won't
you know,
pester you on your
you
love life.
spoke about the need for, let's go up here, the need for design to be about clarity and about simplifying stories, but there's also another big part that design plays, and that is in branding. You know, it's the wrapping of what we do. And also, you will have seen, because it's on TV now, Sky News Raw.
this
So
is us.
that's us right now. So it's Nathan here has been part of a team. Nathan and Callie designed all the stuff for Sky News Raw. So it was the brand that wrapped everything up on the day. And my own personal claim to fame is that's my handwriting.
Oh, wow. So what do the guys work off of? This is Photoshop, is it?
That is Photoshop, yeah, but we use different Adobe packages.
To get things to animate.
Illustrator, After Effects, yeah. So we use some niche things as well, like Viz Artist, which is what we use to build some 3D graphics, and also all our kind of screen furniture that you see, all the straps and tickers and clocks and things are all built inside Viz so that it can be flexible and unlike After Effects, they don't need to be rendered, they can just render on the fly.
It can be painstaking work, can't it? Literally sort of little animating things by frame.
Well, that's right, yes. So, you know, there's an enormous amount of care and precision to what we do.
And that's why you don't want any cameras, you don't want us to know.
Well, I'm always welcome for you to
we
come
might
and
pop
see.
back later.
Yes.
And we'll hand you back to the live feed, then to the newsroom.
So we move away from Sky News Design back into the newsroom. As we're approaching midday, you must by this point have kind of got an idea of the incremental way in which things evolve here. From that 7:30 meeting in which stories were mentioned, then the 9:30 meeting where it were updated, and of course other bits of information had come through. Then the output, the production meeting by the teams themselves deciding how to tell the story, the back and forth between input and output as they are trying to find the right resources at the correct camera to do the story. And then what you're seeing at the moment, the kind of the rolling coverage, after we've moved away from the Westminster-based all-out politics show, you're getting a real idea behind the scenes of the twists and the turns, the concerns. Everyone seems to be smiling in the gallery today, which is not necessarily always the case.
Oh, they thought it was
Lisa might go, Les.
30 seconds.
I've just got
checking to see who's coming in to output the 12 o'clock
He's in the
programme.
office with your dad.
Colin Brazier, of course, will still be anchoring that. But this is a high-pressure environment working in news, particularly working in live news. So whilst you might see the producer remaining in there throughout the show, they also do change through the day. You will tend to find that the director will do 1 hour on, 1 hour off, depending on the demands of the programme as well.
3, 2, mics up, and cut in Vision. Animating.
Just a reminder that we will have a special programme overnight here on Sky News. President Trump's
Envision
State
is the
of
weather
the
next.
Union address, the delayed
We're just
address.
going to finish this hour with Colin Brazier. I mean, as you can see, we're all already looking forward to that State of the Union address by the US President later on. Not something that was mentioned in any great amount of detail in the 7:30 meeting, but something that as we head through the day will continue to get more prominent as we edge towards it.
Closer and a tease next.
Fine to Northern Hills. Northern and Eastern Britain will start the afternoon mostly fine, we think, but fog slow to clear northeastern England. Rather cold there, but mild elsewhere. Rain over Northern Ireland and the Republic will largely clear into Britain on strengthening winds reaching the east later. There'll be heavy downpours, but the rain won't amount to much over central and southeastern England. Low cloud and, fog for the hills as well, but the west of Ireland will have some late brightness.
10 on weather.
Rain locally heavy, moving eastwards overnight, becoming confined to southeast England by dawn.
5.
Most of the places
4.
will then be dry, but
3.
showers following to
2.
northwestern Scotland.
Stereo bumper, cut. Camera 8 next.
Sponsored by Qatar.
20 to stop talking now.
And wipes and Nissan tees here. Mike's in Vision.
This is Sky News coming up.
Take
We'll have
a
more
crack.
reactions
Stop
to those
talking.
controversial comments made by the
Sting
Hollywood
next.
star
10, stop
Liam
talking.
Neeson.
9.
That and the rest
8.
of the day's news.
Can pause,
7.
it's fine.
6.
Just to come.
5. 4.
Coming to the bump.
3.
And bump
2.
run.
1. Very nice.
And we are off.
Speaking from bitter experience.
And we are off air for the 11 o'clock hour. Again, final preparations being made for the 12.
Good
This
hour.
is the point at which
Hello.
I will take my leave. Jane Secker's coming into the gallery to take over. But have
it?
you,
Was it?
I hope, got a little bit of a reason why I generally turn up to work at 3:30 in the morning with a big smile on my face. And it's not just because I've been in my bed for 12 hours by that stage. It is a fantastic place to work, surrounded by a lovely bunch of people. I just wish you might be able to dip into a little bit more of the language that is generally used, but, you know, we are Ofcom compliant here at Sky News. So let's just watch as we edge towards the top of the 12, and I'll see you on sunrise tomorrow.
Let me just tell you, your camera
Guys,
shot will
Adam.
be envisioning our openers before we need a Becky.
Just a reminder to everyone to when we change the key points to flag it up to the director, because changing the key points is actually a
Yes,
big job.
yes,
First
we
key
would
point
love
I've got,
to
Prime Minister
use
will
your
give a
shot
speech.
for the openers, whatever you can offer
Yeah,
us.
why is we got 1 and 4.
Right,
We
let's
seem
just
to have
set that
4.
up again. Hang on. Let's just reset that.
You're doing those 6 live for the opener, aren't
Okay,
you?
thank you. Yeah, let's
And you
just
have those
reset that.
20s there.
Yeah,
Just to let you know, I will let you know
Right, this
when
is
we are
actually,
on
I've
your shot.
double
I'll let
checked
you know
this.
when
This is
we
what
are
we've
on
got
your
now,
shot
Adam.
live.
1:15 to on
Feel
air.
free to pull or push or whatever.
Prime
you
Minister
offer.
will give a speech.
Because you need to clear the graphics, that's why. You need to
No, head to Northern Ireland first.
You clear it then.
This is clear graphic. All right?
Head to Northern Ireland.
Now you QI then because it's the same source.
Okay.
Yeah, head to Northern Ireland,
Yeah.
then to Brussels.
Okay.
Just a second.
And then Conservative meeting here.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
Where's that tone?
yeah, could we lose that tone? That'd be great. 30 seconds now to the ident roll.
Guys,
30 seconds.
Have we got the live shot?
Yes,
from
yes, yes. I
OS6?
spoke to them.
Doesn't
They're
look
ready.
like it.
25. I'll do the count, Tash, while you
Okay.
sort that out.
Yeah, no worries. All sorted.
20 to the ident.
Tash, it's completely out of focus, the live shot.
It's all right. I'll let them know. when we
15
come to you.
seconds to the ident.
30 seconds to your shot now. 30 seconds.
Counting to the ident. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Hi, I can see you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The ident's rolling.
20 seconds to your life.